Dun 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 dun.
Cartoons! I'm a fan of the animation. I've actually dabbled a little bit in animation myself. I've actually had a cartoon of mine win at a film festival in Italy in 2007, I believe. I didn't even enter it. Somebody else entered it on my behalf.
Bueno.
Yeah. King Jimmy, remember that I made in high
I
school?
do!
Yeah. We played in Italy, and it also, that same cartoon, if any of you remember a dancing monkey cartoon at the Binghamton Mets minor league baseball stadium, he played there too, because they got it from another festival that my teacher sent it to from high school.
So if you've seen this...
If you've seen this, it's online somewhere. I'll put the link down there.
Yeah?
But, yeah.
We'll give you a gold coin. I mean, it won't be real.
No.
We'll give it to you.
We'll pretend to give it to you.
You're a fan of animation.
Yeah.
You can animate.
Kind of.
I would like to watch you animate.
Okay.
Cartoons are cool.
Cartoons are cool.
I love cartoons. Now, I love...
I have my top 5 here as well. You have your top 5, right?
You have a list?
I do have a list. Don't you?
Yes.
All right. But go on. You were about to say something. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I loved, we were talking about this just recently, that there was actually, and let's have a moment of silence, Saturday morning cartoons no longer exist.
Sad day.
Yeah.
Very sad.
I mean, I'm sure that they're out. Like, you can, on Saturday morning, just go watch cartoons on Hulu. I'm sure that's like the new thing. Is like, if you want to watch cartoons, just go watch them.
In college, a couple of my buddies and I would get together. He'd knock on my dorm room at 8 in the morning. I'd be like, "Oh, you're serious about this?" And we do it. We watch Saturday morning cartoons because I had DVDs, but we'd watch The Simpsons and Futurama because I didn't actually have cartoons. I think I had SpongeBob on DVD.
Yeah.
But other than that, we'd get together, and then we'd also watch Alf for some reason.
Why not?
Why not?
You know, there was one time we watched Alf. We were waiting to pre-order the Wii when it was coming out, and we were there for about 13 hours. And someone had a CRT TV plugged into their cigarette lighter, and the only VHS we could find to go with this was Alf. And so there's a bunch of us, and it was like 3 degrees. So we're all just outside, and Alf is on, and we're like trying to laugh. We're like, like, it's just the most painful yet humorous experience I think of my life.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's start our list.
Well,
you know what's going to happen?
What?
I'm going to start.
You start, because I think last time I started.
You
so
did.
You start.
All right, well, I'm going to go with number 5. And this is tough for me. Like, I really didn't know how to make this into a list. And this happens to me with video games and music and even movies that, like, when you have to mesh all genres into one top 5 list, it's nearly impossible for me to be like, this one's better than that one.
Yeah.
It's just, it's better in aspects. Mm-hmm. So this list is ambiguously listed in my top 5. But let's go number 5. I'm going to say Adventure Time. And mainly because the first time we watched it, it was so weird that, you know, we also love like things like Tim and Eric and stuff like that, like my wife and
Weirder,
yeah. But for some reason, well, sometimes like an episode will be over and we'll look at each other and be like, we didn't laugh or anything. We'll be like, that was awesome. You know, like there's something, it doesn't like, we have no reaction, but the oddity of it is somehow beautiful to us, you know? And so I feel like I've started connecting with those characters, and the writers really get emotional sometimes, and they draw you into characters that are only a one-shot, you know, they're there and they're gone, and somehow, like, you really get sold into this stuff, you know? And it's just, I say credit to them because they've made a really good show with a lot of heart and also a lot of ridiculous insanity.
Indeed.
So that's my number 5.
My number 5 is similar in that, and a lot of heart, a lot of ridiculous insanity. Bob's Burgers.
Oh, I love Bob's Burgers.
I mean, this cartoon is a breath of fresh air. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, a lot of my stuff of mine isn't Saturday morning cartoons like we talked about. A lot of it is some of the more geared towards adults.
Yeah.
But Bob's Burgers, you know, after years of The Simpsons on Fox, and then Seth MacFarlane just throwing everything to the wall with Fox with his 3 shows, it's nice to see something that wasn't one of those 2 guys.
Yes.
And so... And I believe it's Lauren Burkhardt and Brandon Small. I don't think I pronounced his name right. From Brendan Small.
Who did Home Movies.
Yeah, both of them did Home Movies.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a creator of Home Movies. I believe it's a creator of Home Movies. Did Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
And
and it's John Benjamin.
It's John Benjamin. Yeah. And it's funny. It's a unique art style. Mm-hmm. It's grounded yet kind of quirky. And that's something I actually like say a lot in all my top 5 lists.
Right.
Like each one has some sort of grounding to it.
Yeah.
It's fantastical elements.
Yeah.
But this is just... It's charming.
Yeah.
It's very charming.
And it has a lot of heart, too. Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't always, it's not like a heartstring tugger. Behind it, like, it's got really deep family values that you kind of have to just understand the show and the characters to get, you know?
It's great.
We were them for Halloween. I
saw that.
I was Bob, my kid was a burger, and my wife was Louise, because she's she's short.
My wife and I did the same costumes last year.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, we're out and, like, trick-or-treating, and, everyone's like, oh, look, a chef and his burger. And one mom walks by, and she goes, oh, look, honey, to her son. She goes, look, it's a chef and his burger. He goes, Mom, that's Bob's Burgers. He was the only one the whole night that got it. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, my wife went as Linda, and she had the glasses and the hair and the red, and I went as Bob. And I had the mustache.
So good.
Yeah.
So my number 4, and again, Dragon Ball Z. Now,
I got into one season, and that was
this was so pivotal. Like, I was in junior high. I just started playing football, and I had to play football while the episodes were new, airing on Toonami. Toonami was also amazing. And so, like, it was on at, 5:30 or something and I had to VHS record it. And so I had, my parents were like, well, we only have this one, it's got stuff on it. I'm like, I'm going to record over it, and you better record Dragon Ball Z for me. And you had to, like, program the cable thing to be on at that time, tell the VCR, like, put the little timer like a microwave.
It wasn't just, like, the DVR.
There's no DVR. And sometimes it wouldn't record, and I would be heartbroken. Because, this show, like, a season was, like, 100 episodes. So it's like, it's not like they took a break. It was a new one, like, every day for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was so intense, and yet, it was really my first foray into anime, outside of, like, Sailor Moon that I dabbled in when I was younger, stuff like that.
I never watched. I don't know what this is. And just...
I thought we were...
Sailor Moon, da-da-da-da, didn't watch the show. Don't know the theme song at all. Go on.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to end on that. It was my first foray into anime, and it confused me why they would yell at each other for 20 minutes, and somehow it really intrigued me. That, like, they'd be like, we're going to fight.
That was Christmas.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
I was always happy. We always ended on good notes.
Jill, the depressed teenager?
The awkward teenager, yeah.
All right, why don't you go ahead?
Hey Arnold is my number 4.
Football head.
Yeah, this show just encapsulates childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's, fantastical in some ways. Like, there's one episode where the grandma suddenly has, like, a bunch of, like, she has a dog sled during a snow day. But it's still really grounded in reality and just encapsulates childhood perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, really, did this show go to a place that you couldn't go to in real life? I mean, it still did things with a cartoon that, like, it's hard to do with a live action show. But it was just this honest, beautiful take of childhood. Yeah. And I just love, like, I can go back to that, watch it now, and he's still like, man, these are really good lessons. I can't wait to show my future kids, that show. Right. Because I think it's beautiful.
I really think that whole, like, Nickelodeon era was really good with, like, actual values and, like, real grounded, like, based in reality type of thing.
There's one episode of Hey Arnold that makes me cry every time.
Really?
The Christmas episode where he finds, because he lived in a boarding house with his grandparents and had all these boarders. One of them was a Vietnamese man who's had to give up his kid in the Vietnam War. Okay. They don't, like, outwardly say that, but he hadn't seen his kid since she was a baby, and he handed her to a U.S. soldier to take off as they were leaving, and so he just said, I want to find my daughter, and he finds her daughter for him for Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, you're just watching this episode, and I'm 10, and I'm bawling like a baby. So Hey Arnold, it's just beautiful show, still great. I actually had a friend in high school who did a voice on the show.
No kidding.
The Romeo and Juliet episode, she's narrating Romeo and Juliet. She won a contest and was on the show.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Does she do anything else now? Did it lead to anything?
Yeah, she's in LA right now, I believe.
That's great.
She's pursuing an acting career, so, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, cool.
All right, well, my number 3 is Batman, the animated series.
Not that one.
Not that one.
I didn't even think about that one. That was so good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still go back to that. That's, like, my base for Batman. Like, if I watch anything nowadays, even, like, I watch Gotham, we've seen all the movies, and there's a new one coming out with Batfleck, it's like, we watch all of these things, and I still go back to the animated series and be like, no, they still did it better.
Kevin
Conroy, Mark Hamill, Tara Strong. I mean, you have some of the greatest voice actors doing some of the most iconic villains and heroes.
It came up with Harley Quinn on that series.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Like, she was original to that series.
And everything about it, like, I still go back to it and say, this is kind of where my superhero, like, nerd power came from. Like, my drive to really want comic books and heroes from them started with Batman the Animated Series. And obviously, that was kind of the first time I decided, I was like, I kind of want to be a voice actor, because Kevin Conroy is just Oh,
he was great.
That man is.
He was
He's
amazing.
got some special vocal cords that still give me the willies.
Because both of them neither of them sounded like a voice. They sounded genuine. Both.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
My number 3, Rugrats. I love the show as a kid. It still makes me laugh. Naked Tommy is the greatest cartoon episode of anything ever. It's so wrong.
Yeah.
But so funny. Mm-hmm. And I watching it as a kid, I thought, hey, this is funny. Watching it as an adult, I'm like, oh my.
Yeah. Well, I think that was they got away with that a lot more when it was more ambiguous and innuendo inspired, you know? Because kids never pick up on that.
That was barely innuendo. Watching it as an adult, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that? Even at like an older age.
Yeah.
But and it was just a concept that made me laugh, and like I liked the later seasons, once when Dill's born, but the early seasons, they just they struck this balance where they were kind of mature, they knew what was going on, but then there's other things, just like, what is that? And trying to then see the adult world through the lens of a toddler, where they know more than what you would think as an adult, a child would know, but not anywhere near as much as you'd like them to know at the same time. It was cute.
I feel like the writers almost were still able to tap into their innocence for this.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
There was some way that like a lot of us still wish we had, that they could actually like still get into that and be like, how would we experience this had we had no exterior influence on what we see? And also, I had heard that Tommy was influenced by Doctor Who.
Yeah, he has a screwdriver.
Yeah, sonic screwdriver.
Sorry.
My number 2, and this is one that I remember, it was either you, and we've never met before, but a long time ago, I think you showed me Futurama.
Before we met.
Yeah, of course. You showed me Futurama on DVD. I don't remember where we were, but I definitely wasn't allowed to watch it. And
I think we were at a church retreat when I showed it to you.
I believe you're correct. And you gave me the DVD. You let me borrow it. And I was hooked. I thought it was the funniest thing. And it was such intelligent comedy. And at the same time, it was lowbrow. It was almost like they were so talented at writing lowbrow humor that it was actually intelligent. You know, it was...
What's funny is every one of those writers... They didn't have degrees in entertainment.
Right.
They're like have masters, at least masters.
Yeah.
Most doctorates in like physics, mathematics.
Well, that's why
science.
The algorithms that they do with like the Globetrotters, like they're legit. They actually sit around and come up with real algorithms for like space time.
Yeah.
And then they put it in the show as a joke, but they're not kidding.
It's a real algorithm.
Yeah. Like that's that type of stuff in like Jurassic Park. You know, like that used to make me just cry, just straight up cry. And when it got canceled the first time. My wife and I were so bummed. And they came out with the movies, you know, the 4 movies, and they turned those into the show. And then it came back, and it went on, and by then we had Netflix. And so we don't have to wait like a little while, and they put the whole thing up on Netflix, and we would binge it. And now, that last season, we almost couldn't like bring ourselves to watch it. Like we stopped on the last 4 episodes for
I haven't watched the last
months.
Episode yet.
Yeah, and then
years I haven't watched.
We went and watched it. I tell you, it's gonna be a rough one.
Is it? Is it good?
It's great. The way that they wrap it up is a way that's like, if we get renewed, it's okay. But at the same time, they're like, it's over. You know, this was the end, and they put the most amazing bow on top of it.
Oh, good.
And people like Bender, like I think he has some of the most quotable lines. I mean, not quotable in public, but quotable, you know, to each other. You know, things like, I don't know, him and Fry, I just feel like were one of my favorite bromances. Even though, from Bender's side, sometimes they were like mortal enemies.
Yeah, because he's schizophrenic.
And yet somehow it was like an amazing bromance, you know, between the two that I just kind of really gravitated towards. But really that whole show, every character, like we were just talking about, somehow had heart behind the stupidity.
Yeah.
And yet there was brilliance inside all of the insanity. And that's just why I chose that one.
Okay. My number 2, same creator, Matt Groening.
Yep.
The Simpsons. This show has such a huge influence on my sense of humor. My cousins and I can communicate almost entirely through Simpsons quotes. I mean, I think there's a huge generation of people that can do that, communicate entirely through Simpsons quotes. To spend a half hour, 45 minutes of a conversation just quoting back and forth.
Yeah.
They're really my favorites the first like 10 to 12 seasons. Before, I mean, I've watched a couple new episodes recently, and someone's like, hey, these are still really funny, but they just don't feel like The Simpsons anymore.
Right. I think the pacing is really different.
It is really different. I mean, it's been on for 25 years.
I know. What are you going to do?
At least. It's been on for longer, I believe, actually. Justin Bieber was on it, and I realized when I saw the episode that he was on, I thought, this show is older than he is. Even at the time he appeared, it's 2 years older than he is.
Okay, I'm still...
So yeah, but Homer, you know, there's this one line that my wife and I quote to each other all the time. We just think it's so funny. There's this part when the house is a mess, and Homer and the kids are about to rush out of the house to go do something, and Marge is blocking their way. And so when they get to Marge, Bart just goes, hey, Mom, you're in the way. And Homer, not loud, not in your face, just very matter of fact, says to his son, push her down, son. Just like, it's just So it's just so funny, and it's a punchline. That any other show would be like, "Here's the punchline." This was just like, "Here it is."
Yeah.
And the delivery made it so much funnier, and that's just.
And somehow
like
fatherly.
Yeah, somehow fatherly. He's imparting fatherly wisdom. It's terrible fatherly wisdom, but it's like, "Hey, Mom, you're on our way. Push her down, son." It's just so funny.
Honestly, I still need to watch that show. I've probably seen total 15 episodes.
If you like Futurama, you will like the earlier seasons.
Yeah, and I've heard that too. That one, and because Seinfeld is on Hulu, I've been catching up on that.
Another great show.
Those two kind of passed me in their time, but I realized their brilliance. It's just I never really went back. I didn't have the avenue I do now to go and watch things like this.
Seinfeld's still on primetime on TBS.
Yeah, well, they're still making big bucks off of those residuals.
Yeah.
Okay, my number one. And it's only weird because it was so short-lived, but my number one is The Brak Show.
Now, The Brak Show, not Cartoon Planet.
No, not.
Brak Show.
I mean, I loved. I actually got on Cartoon Planet once. You know how Space Ghost SGC2C was I sent him a name message once, and my question got on there.
Really?
It was amazing. Yeah, I used to watch it every night. I did it. It took a month and a half.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
But it was really cool.
That's so cool.
But Brak Show, man, the song that he would sing. Ridiculous. Like the friendship song and
was Zorak the terrible friend?
Yeah, Zorak, the absolute awful friend that Brak just adored, And for some reason they're space cats and their dad is a human and he's so much smaller than everybody else. And
played by the voice of Space Ghost.
Yes,
actually.
exactly. And they had Space Ghost in it at one point. He lived in their basement because he was broke or running from, the government or something. But
wasn't the dad supposed to be like Ricky from I Love Lucy? He had the accent.
Yes, yeah. For some reason he could speak perfect Spanish at certain times. But I just thought the Brak Show was this perfectly crafted adult kid fusion.
Yeah.
And it was early on in the Adult Swim, kind of testing the waters for this type of stuff with C-Lab and all that. And even Space Ghost. And the Brak Show for me, I still quote it all the time.
I need to watch some of those if they're somewhere online.
I'm sure they're somewhere. Yeah.
My number one, we already talked about it, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. Futurama. I mean, that was your number two. It's my number one. Yeah. I absolutely love it. I adore that series. I mean, it takes Simpsons to 11.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But it still has a lot of the heart. Like you mentioned the Jurassic Park episode, and it's a tearjerker. There's another episode where he thinks his older brother stole his name, but the end of the episode, the whole thing is it's the funniest episode too. I think I watched. It's the 7-Leaf Clover where he thinks his brother stole everything from him after he was frozen. And there's so many funny one-liners and jokes. It's just hilarious. But then the ending, you're like, oh, that's so precious.
Yeah.
And you're crying. There's a tear coming down your face, and
it's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon, but it straddled that line perfectly.
Yeah.
And then you have Zoidberg. Hurrah!
Yeah, I love Zoidberg. One of my uncles and I only connected over Zoidberg. He would make me scuttle into stores. He'd be like, go scuttle. I'd be like, oh.
But yes, Futurama.
I knew we'd agree on that.
I love that show. And actually, you talked about the last episode, which I haven't seen yet, ties it in a neat bow. The original last episode did the exact same thing.
Yes, it did. They just did it again.
Yeah. But I like at the last episode on Fox, they had a little thing at the bottom that says like "See you in syndication."
I love that they called them the Box Company, and the B would just turn into an F because of electricity every once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Great list.
Yeah, it's story time.
Tonight.
Once upon a time.
I'm gonna wait. I defer. I call skip seats. Oh.
Okay. Once upon a time, in a 17th century Chinese opium den,
there was a homeless wino Barbie.
Which is a perfect place for her to be. Is a 17th century Chinese opium
She ran
den.
the place.
She did run the place.
First...
Not well, though.
Well...
Because she was hardly ever sober.
Yes, and not from the opium.
Not from the opium.
She's a wino.
She's a wino.
Oh,
this is a very sad story, folks.
But getting more specific.
Unfortunately, there's Steve, the inept businessman from Rhode Island,
who wants to buy the opium den.
He wants to buy the opium den, but she's a wino, he's inept, she's getting hosed on the deal here.
Did they get married?
Not yet.
I feel like I heard that.
They might get married. She dumped Ken. She's no longer dating Ken.
Of course. He got rid of that. I mean, wino.
I thought she dumped him because he wasn't a wino. He's sober.
That's boring.
That is boring. Anyway. So, they're trying to do this deal, but all the music in the opium den sounds like farts. I mean,
what no one realizes is because the speaker system was just broken, but they just thought Wino Barbie was just letting them rip all day. Not giving any instructions, No, I mean, not like, here's your goal today. Let's get this amount of opium.
Yeah.
Because this is the amount we have to ship today. Instead, she's... No, it's just the music the speaker system's broken.
Yeah, it's just nothing is going well for this opium den.
And unfortunately, this party takes a turn.
And the music doesn't just sound like farts. Somehow it smells like farts too.
Oh.
And Steve the Inept
Is that the opium?
I assume. I don't know.
Duke, does opium smell like farts? Yes.
So the party takes a turn. The music sounds like farts. It smells like farts. Steve's inept. Barbie's homeless.
No one is doing anything well at this opium den, and everyone is given Gas X to control their wild flatulence.
And so then the music starts to sound like music again. And Steve, the inept businessman, because he's inept, ends up paying way too much for the opium den. Mm-hmm. And now Barbie is no longer homeless, but still a wino.
Wow. Well, you have a good night.
Sweet dreams.
Enjoy your wine.
If you're of legal age to drink.
Duke says no.
Duke says no. And you know what? He's right.
Yeah. When you're right, you're right.
When you're right, you're right. Don't... He's my filter.
Hey.
When I need it.
Sometimes, even the finest grounded coffee beans need a good filter.
Coffee beans. My coffee's been making me sick.
How sick?
How
sick are you?
I drink it and then, throughout the morning I'm fine, but this minute I eat lunch in the afternoon, the rest of the day, that makes me I just feel like I'm going to throw up.
Might have a xenomorph.